Good day, students. Today we're going to discuss doing a APA citation for a forum post. This will be just a generic question that is going to be posed, which will more than likely not be a part of your course. You will be able to see how to look for the source and what's a valid source, and then how to post it into your forum. So basically here, the question I have here is, why is Microsoft Word a valuable tool for business? I'm not going to deal with the second part of that question, which says describe 3 uses in your chosen field of profession. So Microsoft, basically I have to go to the internet, and I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to search for um, a site that I'm going to use by typing in uses of Microsoft Word in business. You want to stay away from using any type of blogs. You want to stay away from using Wikipedia. Blogs are just people's opinions, and unless the person has been vetted and it's been a peer-reviewed source, it is typically not going to be valid. Wikipedia would be a starting point, but remember, Wikipedia can be altered and changed by any user that uses it. It's open source, right? So that's why you have to be careful. So try to use websites that have authors listed, and also the date is where it was last updated. Those are always important. And when you start to read the information, you can tell from the tone whether or not it's one-sided, or if it has bias, or if it's more of a more even type of source. So the source that I've chose is this one here, which is www.business.com, ways to use Microsoft Word for business. And now you can read through this, and basically it'll tell you that some of the benefits of Microsoft Word, some of the things that you can do and create with Microsoft Word, and why most people use it, right? So I've read through this, and I came up with a short one paragraph response to the first part of the question, which says Microsoft Word is the most popular word processing program in use today. It can work with Windows, Apple, and Android, as well as other operating systems, making it easily accessible in any work environment. You can create various types of files, including letters, reports, proposals, contracts, etc. This can be shared for editing, even with those who may not have Microsoft Word. This program has templates for any type of file that you may need to create, or can give you the freedom of starting from just a blank page. So this is my answer to the first part of the question, and now I have to cite my source, because this information did not come out of my head, and that means that I have to cite where it came from. You will notice for this course that forums 2, 3, and 4, if you do not cite a source, then you will receive a 0 for your grade, right? So that means I have to because I typed it in Windows, in Microsoft Word, I can use the reference maker. So I'm going to click on references. I'm going to pin it so it stays there. And I'm going to click on insert citation. And when I do that, I'm going to click on insert citation, and it's going to come up with add a new source. So now when it comes up with that, it's going to give me a dialog box, which is going to ask me questions. What type of source am I using? So you'll have to be careful to make sure you choose the correct one. The majority of you are going to use websites, but in some cases you may find journals on the web, or you may find a document from the web. Some of you may use your textbook, and so forth in different situations, right? So now I have to answer all of these fields that are open, right? And you'll notice that I'm using the APA version, right? And this is the APA 6th edition. And it tells me that bibliography fields are for APA. So be careful not to choose the wrong one and choose MLA, right? You're supposed to be using APA for this. So now I have to go back to the website to get my information. So I need an author, right? Either a human being or a corporate author, one or the other. So if I look back at my article, I can see whether or not it was written by a person, because typically at the top, right, it will tell you that it's written by a person now, because it'll say by. So you see here it's written by Jennifer Post, and the last day it was updated was September 29th, 2020, right? So I got 2 pieces of information there. I have the date and I have her name. If for some reason there was no date here, many websites do not list the date at the top. You can scroll all the way to the very bottom, and at the very least, most websites would have their date here. You'll see it says copyright 2021. So in the instance where there is no date at the top or anywhere in the article listed, then for this I would just use the year 2021 because there is nothing else there. So this means that this was updated most recently on that date. So that's the date. So don't put no date unless you absolutely can't find one. And the thing about using no date is that most often if a site does not have a date, that means it's not being kept updated, which means the information is outdated. Certain things don't change from day to day or year to year or even from decade to decade. But if they do, if we're talking about technology, then it's very important to make sure you have the correct date. So September 29th, 2020 is my date, and Jennifer Post is her name. So I'm going to go into my document again, and here I'm going to put the author's name. I'm going to put Post, comma, and then Jennifer, and then I'm going to put the date is 2020, and it was September 29th. Whoops, September 29th. And now I'm going to go and I need the name of the article, right? So here is the name of the article, the best business uses of Microsoft Word. I'm going to select it. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to, by pressing Control and C, I'm going to go back to my document, and the name of the web page is going to be the name of the article here. The name of the website and the URL are the only two things I have left. So I'm going to go back, and the name of the URL is basically everything that's in this box. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to take it back, and I'm also, you notice that the website is www.business.com. So all I have to do is I could do this 2 times. I'm going to go here to the URL and press Control V to paste it. I'm going to go up here to the name of the website and press Control V, and I can actually get rid of the HTTPS, and I can get rid of all of this information up to where it says .com. And now I have everything that I need from my source, right? These are all the fields. If your particular dialog box shows the date that you accessed it on, that means that you're using APA 5th edition or earlier, and you don't want to answer those questions. Just ignore them and leave them blank, and they won't show up. So now if I click OK, you will see that it gives me my reference, right? And you'll notice that it automatically puts it in parentheses. You'll notice that it gives me my author's last name and the year. If there was no author for that particular article, if it just said staff writer, then the person who gets credit for it would have been a corporate author, and I would have chose business.com, right? So there for business.com so it was shown here as business.com, comma 2020, right? And if you look at the source, right? If I go back to my source again, oops, I want to go here to source, oops. Let me go back to my references. I'm going to go back to manage sources, right? So if I make a mistake, I can always go back to my sources, and I can find my source that I'm using, and this is it here, right? The current list. I'm going to edit it, right? And you can see, so if that would have been a business.com as an author, I would have checked this box, and then I would have put business.com here, right? So this is for when it's an entity. This is for when it's a human being, right? Dogs haven't started to write books yet, so we'll keep it at that. So I'm going to click OK here. I'm going to click close here, and so now I have my reference, right? But now I'm still missing my reference listing. So when you're doing a forum post, right, you're going to put your references. So I'm going to go insert, right next to insert citation, I'm going to go to bibliography, and I'm going to choose references. You can either choose references or works cited. Either one of them will work, right? They're both APA 6th edition. So now I'm going to click on references, and you will see my references come up, right? So the only thing I would have left to do now is to answer my second paragraph. If I was to answer that in here, I would type out my paragraph here, right? And I would answer the question, right? In a complete paragraph using complete sentences. And then I would insert my second source here. And then when I would wait to create my bibliography, and I would create it one time, or if I had already created it, I could just update the bibliography, right? So this would give me a complete forum post. And then what I would do is after I have the second paragraph and I have the second reference, I would highlight them all, hit Control and C, and I would copy it, and then I would paste it into the box that is provided for forum, whatever number it is, right? This is how you should be doing all of your forum posts, right? Now, if you do this procedure, then procedurally you should get a good grade. The only thing remaining would be based upon your content. So you want to make sure that your spelling and your grammar are good, and you try to make sure you proofread them or have someone else proofread them for you who didn't write it. And then you also want to make sure that you have your references for each paragraph where is required, right? So this should help you. And like I said, if you want to, you can feel free to share this with anyone that you know. Thank you.